Japan, the land of the rising sun, a beautiful, awe-inspiring realm of ancient traditions and arcane mysteries that sit comfortably beside one of the most technologically advanced societies on the planet. However, deep beneath that, ingrained in Japanese culture and folklore, are the Yurei, ghosts. Their name consisting of two kanji, yu, which means faint or dim, and rei, meaning soul or spirit, is a phrase synonymous with the abandoned and long lost places where locals fear to tread. And believe me, there's a lot of them. Hello horror fans and welcome back to the Scaries channel on YouTube, Top 5 Scary Videos. As always, I'll be your spirit guide Jack Finch as we tiptoe lightly and take a look at the top 5 most haunted places in Japan. Roll the clip. For those of you that are interested, that clip was from Ringu, the classic 1998 version of The Ring. Now, before we dive into this list, horror fans, you know the drill by now. If you're a fan of this video, ghostly hauntings, Japanese culture, or just top 5 scary videos in general, then please be a dear and hit that thumbs up button, as well as that subscribe bell so you can stay updated with our latest and greatest uploads. Also, I'd just like to say a quick thank you to all of our newest subscribers and horror fans. Really, the way the channel is growing and expanding into new horrifying frontiers is really heartwarming stuff. So, thank you. We appreciate you. Kicking off at number 5, Building 2283, Okinawa. Throughout modern history and following the events of World War II, Japan has seen a large military occupation, the majority of which come from the US. Because of that, these collisions of culture have been met with some pretty spooky outcomes. One of those is Building 2283 at the Kadena Air Base, which is actually a single unit family home in a residential area, which was historically reserved for mid-grade officers and high-ranking civilians. Well, of course, no one lives there anymore, and the Kadena Air Base goes out of their way to make sure the building is eerily maintained. Whatever happened before the US moved in is unclear, but tales of a grisly murder are the main consensus. A number of families occupied the residence, but all of them soon reported the same stories. Water faucets and lights turning on and off by themselves, the sound of children laughing and crying just out of earshot, and the sight of a woman washing her hair constantly in the utility sink. Allegedly, the origin of the haunting comes from a family who occupied the house sometime in the late 70s, a teenage girl who was obsessed with keeping herself clean, and an abusive stepfather that stabbed her to death and then killed himself. Next up at number 4, Gridley Tunnel, Yokosuka. Again, another ghostly tale that comes from the military. The Gridley Tunnel on the Yokosuka Naval Base is a narrow, one-way tunnel that runs directly underneath a hill from Gridley Lane to Nimitz Boulevard, an access route running away from Yokosuka that was repurposed from an ancient fortification that existed before the modern naval base was built in the 1870s. Allegedly, the staggering amount of the exact same sighting is what has given this ghost its legend. As people drive through the one-way tunnel, they glance in the rearview mirror and see a bloody samurai chasing them. Some people have been so startled by the sighting that they've totaled their vehicle into the side of the tunnel, and the ghostly samurai often emerges on rainy nights between midnight and 1 AM. As the legend goes, the apparition is the ghost of a long-dead samurai who was on his way to avenge the death of his feudal lord when he was ambushed by the same assassins and brutally killed. Allegedly, because he failed his mission of vengeance, he cannot leave the tunnel and is left to wander eternally. Coming in at number 3, the Hanging Ruins, Osaka. In the Shinsekai district of Osaka, there lies the remains of a burned out 4-story building that has eerily been dubbed by locals as the Hanging Ruins. As the legend goes, in the early 2000s, the apartment building burned out in a tragic fire, where it remained for years untouched and unrepaired. In 2005, an employee of a local spa located from across the ruins spotted a strange long object dangling from its roof. Well, the employee decided to call the authorities, who investigated and realized that the strange object was in fact a corpse. The next day, there was a mysterious pair of shoes dangling from where the body was found. A few years later, another local was passing by and they spotted what appeared to be a life-size doll hanging from the same rooftop. Eerily enough, it turned out to be yet another corpse, and yet again another mysterious pair of shoes were found dangling the next day. Eventually, curious folks started throwing pairs of shoes from the building in tribute to the mysterious corpses found there. As far as the residents of Osaka are concerned, there have been at least 3 bodies found in the Hanging Ruins, yet who they were or what they were remains a mystery. Swinging in at number 2, the Doryodo ruins, Tokyo. Doryodo, also referred to as the haunted temple of Hashioji and translates roughly to the end of the road temple, is known as one of the most haunted locations in Japan and has been host to some grisly and ghostly tales throughout its history, ever since it was first constructed in 1590. As one of its many legends goes, in 1963 an 82-year-old woman who was in charge of maintaining the site was approached by a robber. The woman tried to fight back against the criminal and was tragically killed as a result. Days later, locals reported the ghostly sounds of a woman sobbing in the forest, a spirit that was tragically bound to the ruins. Exactly 10 years later, in 1973, a female university student was caught up in an affair with her English literature professor, who was married and had 2 small children. When word of the affair got out, things ended tragically, and the professor ultimately killed the young girl, burying her body in a shallow grave at the site of the Doryodo ruins. It didn't end there though. The act of murder drove the professor to madness, and weeks later the corpse of him, his wife and his 2 children were found washed up by some nearby cliffs. To this day, locals have reported hearing a young woman whispering, I'm here, alongside the sound of an old woman sobbing. And finally, at our number 1 spot, Gogahara Forest, Yamananshi. Of course, it has to be perhaps the most notorious and infamous location in the whole of Japan. Gogahara Forest, also known as the Sea of Trees, is a beautiful location that historically has harboured a very dark and eerie past. Since the 1800s, the forest, which sits in the shadow of Mount Fuji, has had a reputation with being a gateway for the Yurei, the ghosts of the dead in Japanese mythology, and has been revered as a location and site for communicating with spirits. It was also connected to the ancient practice of ubusute, a mythical Japanese practice where an elderly person was taken to a forest to die. It wasn't until 1961 that the forest began its grisly reputation with suicide, when a famous Japanese writer, Seiko Matsumoto, penned the novel Nami no To, Tower of Waves, where the lead characters tragically committed suicide in the confines of the forest. In 2010, more than 200 people attempted to take their own lives in the forest, and tragically, that figure continues to rise as Japan struggles to confront its staggering suicide rate and battle with mental illness. Gogahara Forest continues to be a human reminder of these lives lost and the tormented spirits that still linger there. Well, there we have it folks, the top 5 most haunted places in Japan. Before we depart, let's take a look at some of your more creative comments from over the past few days. Gabriel Sandoval says, "This is my new favourite channel, keep up the amazing work." Well, thank you Gabriel, and it's a pleasure to have you on board. Hopefully we can stay in your good standing. It's pretty tough competition out there. Bad Puns McGee says, "I love the little witch flying across the moon. Nice touch." Wait. What witch? Nah, I'm just kidding. That's Agatha. She's the best. Well, there we have it, horror fans. Cheers for sticking around all the way to the end. If you're a fan of this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, and we'll be seeing you in the next one. As always, I've been your host, Jack Finch. You've been watching Top 5 Scary Videos, and until next time, you take it easy.